Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take a look here at Solana, see what's going on. And as you can kind of see here from the backdrop, I am back in my office here, so back on track, be able to get a lot more analysis and detailed content to you here moving forward. So what we're going to look at for Solana here, first of all, is this. This is not good, honestly. We are seeing this bearish backtest, so this ascending trend line, and generally those are things you want to try to short into, because again, when the price keeps honoring these ascending trends here, right? Higher lows, and then breaks down and essentially establishes lower highs. Well, sorry, those are higher highs still, but it's a bearish backtest of this previous trend line, implying that the price is more likely to inevitably pull back. Okay, now it's not a guarantee, but depending on how Bitcoin behaves, we could see that occur. You got to look at this here and Bitcoin. You compare the two. Solana is doing very poor, has a strong resistance range in this level between 145 and 148. We've talked about that range being a difficult one to get crossed or to get across, and it's important to recognize that that is a very real thing. So let's take a look at some liquidation, kind of see if there's any merit on the back end for the price to move in either direction, kind of go from there. I do want to say thank you again for hitting that like button, commenting below if you get a chance. Love to hear it. And look at this here. This is somewhat surprising with all the resistance here in the price action having difficulty getting past this 145 mark. There's not a ton of people shorting. There's way too many people taking long positions. We can see some low and or high leverage longs between 134 and 138. Each one of these red bars is somewhere in the range of $500 million. So we got 2, 3, 4, somewhere in the range, probably about $4 to $5 billion. If we look out here and zoom out a little bit, we can see once more our previous resistance range at about 150. That is that previous level that we saw the price wake up to that's having difficulty getting past or back to in general. We can see a good amount of liquidation there, somewhere in the range of 2.5 billion. But if we look down here, we can see a lot more accumulated across 134 to 138. So to me, it seems more likely for the price to pull back based on that sentiment alone, and the fact that Bitcoin is performing generally better than Solana. That tells me we're inversely paired, and with us, retesting this ascending trend line bearishly, then that's not a good sign. Okay, and again, I'll explain more what I mean by that here too, because it can probably seem kind of strange. Like, what do you mean? We're establishing higher highs. How is that a bad thing? Generally, that's a trend reversal sign. Of course, it's good. But when you have these rising wedge patterns that break to the downside, commonly these ascending trend lines become resistance ranges too. Okay, so we'll discuss that. All right, so daily time frame, let's quickly note a couple things here. First, as a baseline, we are still getting rejected by the 20-day SMA. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3 days in a row roughly where that's been a thing. We can see other moving averages also up here at 150 some odd, 155 rather. And so we got a lot of resistance between here and there. Keep in mind, we got a decent amount of liquidation at this 150 mark. So you got to recognize that as a thing there. But we also got a chunk of liquidation in this little range here. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord so you can kind of see those levels. I'll plot that out. I don't like to do that in the videos. It takes too long to do. But generally speaking, those are areas we want to kind of pay attention to. Okay. That being said, we're right at this local point of control. Or actually, it's not even local. I guess we zoom out a little bit. This is more so just the 1 month's worth of trading time frame here. We can see ever since we've been in this range, the local area of resistance is 143. So we keep getting stopped out or stunned out right there at that level. Okay, so if Bitcoin can make a run towards 63K and sweep that upper level liquidation, which is possible, then I think we're going to see Solana potentially pull its head successfully from its ass and maybe come up here to 148 and sweep that 150. If that doesn't happen, though, I think more downside seems likely just based on a few things here. Let's take a look here. First of all, we're under 50 on the RSI, where when you look at Bitcoin, it's over 50, right? So I'm not saying Bitcoin's breaking bullish by any stretch. It's just got some slightly larger bullish tendencies or qualities, right? We look at Solana, it's on the struggle bus. We are stochastically swinging up, but MACD is also looking pretty ugly here. Again, this is not significant. While we're trying to converge, and this could be viewed as a very positive thing, and the likelihood of it going up because of this is higher, right? That's very true. Being below 50 on the RSI and below all moving averages, to me, carries a little bit more weight. I know momentum is an important thing to recognize, but how do you view this as momentum when the price has been just stuck on stupid for, a week and a half? It does imply we're going to probably see a breakout soon. It'll either break out to the upside or the downside, and it may follow suit with Bitcoin. So once more, Bitcoin has like a 55% chance of going up than down. So sure, we can go with the odds on that one and say that Solana might go up because of that. But that's a terrible just summary of the situation, because you don't just take trades based on that one thing, right? We take a look here at MACD, we can see it's trying to converge, still having some trouble there, still a bit on the struggle bus. We can also recognize we're stuck in this 50 range. Anytime prices kind of get close to 50 on the RSI and just kind of hang out there for a while, it's usually a similar scenario. We could probably pull up Bollinger Bands and see that it's getting tighter. And the more often, the more the price compresses, the more likely it is to break out. So I think we are on the verge of a breakout. There's no doubt about it, but there's not a lot here telling me it wants to shoot up just based on how poorly it's performing, respective to Bitcoin. So again, take a look at this chart, see how we are establishing. We had 2 higher highs back here, and now we got 3 higher lows back here. We look at this here. Bitcoin's performing a lot different, and against Solana, while it's a good performing coin in most cases, this doesn't feel right to me. Again, that's just me personally, and again, I'll post our playout chart on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord to give you my over under, so to speak. But at this point, let's go ahead and confirm just a few other factors. We're stuck within the cloud. This is generally generally a sign of not taking a trade. So hypothetically, the price remains in the cloud. You're just going to kind of wait it out. Okay. Now again, I know it seems weird and it feels strange to not try to take a trade when the price action is moving, right? But a lot of times you want to wait for it to confirm either side. In this point here, we can see our 0.382 fib level at 144. A closure above that would be super solid. And put us above the cloud, it would confirm the lagging span is free and clear of the price action. Because just say the price goes up here, then the lagging span would also be free and clear. And that's ultimately what we're looking for, okay? Conversion lines above the baseline. So again, another positive momentous sign letting us know we have momentum to the upside. But I don't really like this pattern here. And again, let me explain why. So we got this bearish backtest here of this ascending trend line. If we kind of draw this out here, we can kind of see that we are somewhat in a bit of a channel, right? And a lot of times these type of channels will break to the downside, okay? It's somewhat of a bear flag pattern. So this is exactly why these things exist. They're generally going to be retests of ascending trend lines that inevitably break down, because this is a false positive here, kind of letting us know that the price, while it should go higher, probably isn't going to. Now, I'm not expecting the price to drop super hard for Solana, pending Bitcoin doesn't fill its lower range of liquidation at 57 to 58K. Because if you take a look here, there is a lot of liquidation. This is Bitcoin's chart at 57 to 58,000. If we look at that and then we kind of compare that with this lower level liquidation here for Solana, it's a very, very similar situation. And again, while there is liquidation to the upside just as much as there is to the downside, we're smack dab right in the middle there. We still have these unique circumstances here, leading me to believe that we're probably more likely to go down than up. Again, it's not exact science, folks. This is still one of those indecisive moments. So if you are in a situation right now where you're like scratching your head, not sure what to do, don't do it. That's really how trading is supposed to work. 95% of everything that you analyze in the charts is going to give you, it's going to be a reason not to take a trade. There's only 5% of the time or less that you should be convinced to take a trade. And again, when I take these analyses, or when I make them rather, I'm convincing myself not to take the trade, and only certain circumstances I'm going to be like, okay, it's probably a good time to go ahead and take this call, because a lot of things match up. We don't have a lot of glaringly obvious scenarios right now in the market, specifically with Bitcoin kind of being stuck in the middle of its range too. Once it establishes a side, it might be a lot easier to take trades going in the same direction that the market, right? For right now, it's almost a flip of a coin with Bitcoin, and that leads me to feel a little less steady on coins like this. But if I'm going to be a gambling man, which I'm not, I'm going to speculate that Solana is going to go down versus going up at this point. We just have a lot of weakness here, and if volume doesn't pick up, then we're probably going to see the price come down. All right. So pay attention to those things there. I hope that makes sense. I described that correctly. I hope you learned something here today, of course, too. Again, if you do decide to short, just consider low leverage, low position size. Inherently, shorts are higher risk. And I had this one troll in my community, and I think they're still there. They're saying, are you scared to take shorts? The truth is, no, we're not. It's just that you're gonna take on more risk taking a short, because it takes there's no end of how high the price can go, but there's always an end to how low it can go. Okay, so statistically, you're going to find more risk going with shorts. But again, 75% of our trades this month have been short trades, minus, of course, our AVAX long. We hit 20% yesterday, I believe, or a couple of days ago when I took that long position. So again, we've been securing some good solid profits. SCOI was a short, for example. Bitcoin was a short from 60 to 56K. We're hitting all sorts of different directions, but you just got to be careful. I'm not sending a ton of signals out, and that's just because the market's kind of weird. we'll break out soon, folks. It'll be all good. But between now and then, don't worry about it. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something today. Please hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.